You seem to know your answers, so you seem to know your answers. So. It's like I didn't know that you were having summer reasons. And I was like, fine, no. I've been so out of the loop with the numbers. So glad that's over. I still haven't followed that. But it wasn't about prospects, it was about restrictions on yeah. Like the novice. Fire that he did. So half of the days were at straight up or something just like diesel potato. Especially with so Casey from my team in Temple actually ran that and won like 6 more hours.
Really, that should have been a little lower. And then like this one later. Oh, that's what we'll do. We'll do like okay, so Melissa, you're now our base because none of these guys can see your base. So I mean, it's the first try that she won.
I used to play violin.
How we doing, man?
Good. I posted the link to the event group, and then I'm just sending out a generalized link to the stream as well for folks.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem.
Like I like it, but it's just not consistent. I might either like keep the pastel or do nothing or when I don't start like yeah, it has to be like I have so much more freedom.
well, we just think about your range.
Oh yeah.
I can do it quickly. It's hard to get it.
I believe it's Ernest. Like, I think it's Ernest. Like Ron Ernest. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like that.
I said, Ron, I want to know, state your name, and, we'll start the candidates.
Let's see.
Hopefully they
Do you want some of mine? It's up there on the podium underneath. Yeah.
Yep.
I think I said you. I said you probably got it.
Or whatever you said.
I think I got something from
Hi there. Do you happen to know where other power outlets might be located?
Are you going to be streaming or?
Yeah. Just set up one of them.
Yeah, I just have my backup
Okay.
battery.
No problem. I'm sure I can figure something out. Thanks.
I'm Steve Reese. I'm the director, associate director of practice. Oh, fantastic. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, how are you? So I'm here to meet Caleb. Okay?
No, I guess,
Wishes he was Michael Jackson. Yes.
You ready?
Just like the official.
Voila. Hope so. No. You can go that way.
Either way? Okay.
Yeah, either way. And if you can sit towards the front, that'd be great.
Yes. No, no. It's crossed. Yeah. Sorry. Oh.
So my view on that is, my wife was with a kid whose mother's running drugs and abuse. So I see the damage that drugs cause. It makes a permanent scar on the sidewalk or next or something. So my view is I am okay with this at the stage. But I can't, I can't say that recreation, yeah, it sounds like this. Yes, totally sure. So, primary recreation so that's kind of a nuance. See, a lot of my positions, you know, people will try to put me into what I'm trying to do is say, let's low those categories. We used to think that the world was flat, kings and queens and everything and everything was good. Let's start, you know, we have to put this thing. So let's put it together and put these things in. And that's what I want. So I think that's, you know, my brother had a mental disability. And so every day I'd come home and I'd go back to the football field and used to the hospital noise. Come home and my mom would be my brother and take and my mom knew if he didn't do it, he'd be institutionalized. So I'm upstairs feeling totally helpless, concerned I'm going to lose my brother. He just passed away. So I fully understand the importance of a mental health issue. My dad died of Alzheimer's. So, and for us, what we did is we had the mental hospitals, and we let them all loose, put them in jail. Now we're releasing them. And so that is something I don't have the answer to. But we have the criminals who have their specific issues and need certain type of help. And once you're out of jail and you pay your debt to society, you should be able to vote. We should get you back into society. with respect to those that have addictions, that's my wife works with, and those are people that need help, they're not criminals. And definitely people that have mental health issues aren't criminals. But so I want to make sure that we get the resources to address that issue. So what we first need to do is we need, and maybe 3 may not be enough separation, but we need to treat each of the situations separately, and we've lumped them all together in the past. And we're lumping them all together now by letting them all out without a real plan to take care of them. So that's something that my heart goes out to every day. You want me to speak up, or do you want to? I don't want to. Well, whatever. So I'll just keep it going this way. I'm Duff Sondheim. I'm one of the candidates. I'm just here. Kayla's playing me in this debate, and so I came over, and she was on the news this morning. And my wife called me on her way to work and said, "You have to go meet that woman." So to get me in the door tonight, that's why I came over.
Yeah, I had a question. You talked about Alzheimer's and releasing patients, and that caused an issue with our homeless population. Do you have anything on that, and what we can do for the homeless population, especially the ones with mental illness?
Yeah, so that's a big priority of mine, because we now, with the change in the law, we're just dumping them. So I go to Humboldt County, I go to Mesa, California, and what we know with the Humboldt situation, I said, okay, that's really bad, right? I mean, that's terrible, and the county doesn't have the money to deal with it. So I've seen it all throughout the state. I'm not in a position yet where I have a solution to that. And I don't know, frankly, if you look at our problems and you look at them on a spectrum, the one I think is the easiest to resolve is one. That's just a matter of will. And I think, everything's in full body care. Homelessness, drug addiction, those, I don't have the answer to that. And that's where I think, again, I don't think it's a government program. I think it's all of us working together, that kind of data, put all those data points down so that we deal with that. But as much as it's data points, it's much more important, right? It's who we are as a people, and whether our heart goes out to those people in a way that can help change their lives. Because a lot of them, because of their mental issues or their addiction issues, they're always going to struggle, right? And what I thought was so fantastic about my mom is in an era where a lot of families would take that kid and put that kid to the side. She put him at the center. He was the central focus, and my dad, everything, the wills and all that, would make sure that Dave is taken care of. And that's why his death in December is just so unbelievable for me, because he was the center of our family. That was what we all came together around. And his death was a wedding. So I think that that's what we need to do, is we need to embrace that rather than put them off in some camps or whatever. They are a part of us, and how we treat them defines who we are. Great, we'll go on.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so I'll give you my card, but I really hope you guys reach out to me and tell me where I get it wrong, because given those data points, that's how I'm going to get better.
Thank you very much.
Have fun. Okay. Bye-bye. Thanks, Jack. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
All right, folks. Welcome. Thank you all for coming out and supporting this great event for the University of the Pacific. My name is Steve Farias. I'm the Associate Director of Forensics here at Pacific. When Communications reached out to me about 2 weeks ago to see if we could put on an event to try and simulate the Senate debate that's going to be happening here at 6 o'clock, we thought it was a great opportunity to try and reach out to some of the local community colleges, and reach out to the students here on campus, and hopefully try and get the public involved. I know parking on campus is a little hectic, so we're hoping that people will keep trickling in, but Jeff, go on, come on down.
Sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
have my picture with her. My wife otherwise won't believe me that I actually did this.
And it's so great that actually Duff would, I'm going to duck down, I don't want to be in this selfie.
There we go.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Thanks, sorry.
And it's so great that he was able to come out and introduce himself to the students. As we all know, the younger generation is supposedly coming out in droves, so I'm hoping that our event will be able to mobilize some of the students here on campus. But I wanted to get started here, and so I wanted to introduce to you the Dean of our college, Dean Raina Fraden, here to introduce us for the debate. Please welcome her.
So welcome, everyone. It's just really quite a beautiful sight there. We're really excited to have the Pacific Forensics team put on this public debate as a prologue to our U.S. Senate debate happening right across the campus. Over the last 12 years, Pacific's speech and debate team has become a national power, and we're all very proud of what they've done. They're consistently ranked in the top 10 teams in the nation, and they built a strong foundation for future competitors coming to Pacific. At the National Parliamentary Debate Association's national tournament, was that just in, when was that?
That was about a month ago.
A month ago. We finished fourth in the whole tournament, and two of the competitors from that night, I believe, Jonathan Bruce, yeah, and Dallas Phillips over there, yeah, will be part of tonight's demonstration. So you're going to see, everybody understands that each one of these is pretending to be taking on the positions of each of the runners in our Senate debate. And I'm going to introduce to you who they are, and as I do, each of you will step up to your podium. Okay, so the first person representing the front runner, the Democratic candidate Kamala Harris, will be our sophomore, Dallas Phillips. Dallas is a transfer from Santa Rosa Junior College. She and her partner, Evan Haynes, finished as the 16th ranked debate partnership in the nation. Second, representing the Democratic candidate Loretta Sanchez, who is currently second in the polls, will be Erica Howdagy. Erica is a recruit from San Joaquin Delta College, where she and her partner were one of only a handful of community college teams to qualify for the National Parliamentary Tournament of Excellence this year. Third, representing Republican candidate Tom Del Beccaro, will be Megan Chatelain. She's a recruit from Modesto Junior College, who was one of Modesto's top competitors this year and hopes to continue her success next year at Pacific. I'm sure she will. And fourth, representing Republican candidate Duff Sondheim, who was just here taking a picture, is freshman Kayla Gertis. Kayla is part of Pacific's Legal Scholars Program. It's an honors program for students interested in the law and perhaps going on to law school. She joined this team this year without much experience at all in the styles of debate we do here at Pacific. However, she found immediate success with multiple partners. And then finally, representing the newest Republican candidate, Ron Unz, will be senior Jonathan Bruce. Jonathan has been here at Pacific for over 3 years. He's graduating this year with a degree in communication and also as an outstanding senior from the communication department. This year, he and his partner, Reed Ramsey, finished as the 9th best team in the nation. Amazing and wonderful work. We can't assume that these 5 people agree with the positions that they're adopting here, although with the research they've done, maybe they're clarifying their own positions, or maybe they're even finding out that they do have some congruence with the people who are running for office. Whether they agree or not, it's the academic skills, the research that they undertake, and as you'll see, how quick they are maybe even quicker than the candidates that we'll see tonight. You can judge for yourself how really excellent these students are. Thank you all very much for coming. If you have any questions or comments, please stay after and you can ask all five yourself. And then I'm told that you can also tweet or blog. Oh, there's instructions. So you can do all of those things and participate as we go. Please do. And now I would like to turn it over to our moderator for the evening. He is the director of debate at Delta, our neighbor, and most importantly, he's an alumnus of Pacific, Jeff Tony.
All right. So hopefully we can have an informative evening for all the candidates that came here today. First, I'm going to go over the rules. Then we're going to do an opening and then allow you all to introduce yourselves to the audience. And then we're going to get into some questions that have been prepared that hopefully the audience is super eager to hear about. So first of all, when you're asked questions, we're going to give you about 60 to 90 minutes per question, and you're going to have a 30-second rebuttal. If you decide to go over that time, I'm going to try to gently urge you to complete your thought so that we can get the rest of the questions in. So with that being said, is there any questions from the candidates? Perfect. Let's start this. Right now, we're going to start with Loretta Sanchez for you to give us a little bit of opening about your position, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Loretta Sanchez, and I am a daughter of 2 immigrants from Mexico. I was a Head Start kid, as well as received an education through a university with the help of both the Cal Grant A and the Pell Grant. I believe that we need to focus on our military, as I am an expert in international affairs and the securing of America, as well as focusing on the men and women within the Army. I am also committed to wage equality, as well as securing jobs for individuals across the country. I also believe that we need to look at immigration reform and how that will affect both California and the rest of the United States.
All right, thank you, Senator. And we'll now hear from Tom Del Beccaro.
Hi, my name is Tom Del Beccaro, and I am here because California has some major issues, and I want to offer up some solutions for those issues. As a small business lawyer for the past almost 29 years, I have seen all too well what happens when businesses lose employment and what happens to the people of that employment when they lose their jobs. And without the ability to have jobs for people, we have the inability to pay our taxes, which means that we can't actually get the money that we need for our education and for other systems. And what my solutions are is to actually be able to fix these problems, because without it, all we're doing is just throwing more taxes and fining the citizens more versus what they should have actually been doing, which was fix the problem originally.
All right, thank you so much. We'll now hear from Kamala Harris.
Hello, my name is Kamala Harris, and I'm currently your California Attorney General for 2 terms. And the one thing that I want to present to you all is that I have been faced with the word can't. My entire life, I have been faced with, I can't do this, or you will never be successful. And being the California Attorney General, I've absolutely learned that being a fighter is what's most important as somebody who is looking for legislative reform. And I feel as though that I can take that ideology and push it through Congress, whether it be through forms of wage equality for all individuals, regardless of their background, for comprehensive immigration reform that would provide all individuals access to the opportunities within the United States, and also fighting for reform in order to preserve our climate and focus on how we can improve infrastructure within California and also the nation.
Thank you so much. Now we'll hear from Duff Sondheim.
Hello, my name is Duff Sondheim, and I am proud to be running as a Republican candidate for California Senator. As Senator, I would be able to help make California great by focusing on a lot of our problems like the drought, the recent loss of economic mobility, and immigration issues. My experience as a lawyer, as well as a delegate on the United States-China Joint Session on Trade, and the United States-Soviet Conference on Trade and Law, and in the chairman of California's Republican Party, give me experience in local, regional, national, and even international issues. I have proven ability to lead, and I will be able to draw people's attention by rechanging the way that we focus and look at the Republican Party by supporting issues like pro-choice movements and the ability to have sexual minority rights. Overall, a vote for me, is a vote to support California and is a vote to change the way that we see the Republican Party.
Thank you so much. Now we'll end with Ron Ooms.
My name is Ron Ooms. I am joining this election race late. And I'm joining it late because I just discovered that the California Congress is about to repeal English only, which means that Latino populations won't be able to learn English in K through 12, going back to the 90s to where they can't actually assimilate themselves into society. So I am putting my name for this candidacy to protect the educational system for minorities just as much as the Caucasian population. And I am proposing a broad sweeping legislative change to the education so it's all inclusive. And that way we can transform America, not only for you, but for your children and grandchildren. So California is accepting of you no matter where you come from. And that is what my candidacy is about.
All right. Thank you so much. Now let's get into some more formal questions. Seeing as we're at the University of Pacific and they were so graciously gave us the space in order to have this debate, we're going to start off with a couple of questions that are predicated around to our students in our collegiate system. The first question is going to be for Kamala Harris. So undergraduate students are graduating with an increasing amount of debt. The Wall Street Journal reported that in '93, the average student loan debt was just under $10,000. But in 2015, the average student loan debt was over $35,000. Senator Bernie Sanders, among others, has proposed making college tuition free for all students. What do you think the federal government ought to do in response to this trend?
Well, absolutely. I do indeed think that there is a problem with student loan debt and millions of college students who feel as though that they can't go to college or complete their college education due to the cost. And as senator, I would absolutely push for free tuition for community colleges because I think that community colleges are an underdeveloped resource in the United States. And I think that they are a great resource for thousands of students to develop and look to what they would like to go into in the future. But I also think that a large problem is the predatory ideologies and the predatory lending of loans and bankers, and also of for-profit colleges that are looking to prey on individuals who cannot pay back these loans. And taking legislative focus on these issues and being able to transform the college environment not only for students during their experience, but also their experience and impact afterwards, with being able to make sure that loans are smaller and more accessible for individuals is one absolute way to be able to reduce this debt and allow more individuals to enjoy their college education.
Thank you. Please. Pardon me here. There we go. We're back on. All right. So, is there anybody care to rebuttal that?
Yeah, I think that the issue is much larger than, of course, community colleges or for-profit colleges. The issue is that private universities and public universities keep on growing their tuition inexorably. Many analysts that I work with have shown that the huge growth in the number of loans and the cost of actually going to college is mainly due because money is being transferred to wages for administrators. And I, with Ralph Nader, am trying to get candidacy on the Board of Overseers at Harvard University to make sure tuition is completely free to any student. And we are trying to convince Stanford and Yale to follow suit. You have to make college free, and you have to weed out the bureaucracy. The debt isn't coming from city colleges. The debt isn't coming from for-profits. The debt is coming from every major university in this entire nation. And it is causing debt servitude, indentured servitude for our younger generation.
All right, Tom, it looks like you're over there chomping at the bit, so do you have any responses to this?
Yeah, I don't believe that free community college is necessarily the thing that we need to have. I believe what needs to happen is we need to have our students be able to graduate and walk into a job that supports the degree that they just got. And since we don't have any job growth right now in California, and we're seeing businesses shut down more and more, and no new startups, they're graduating with degrees that don't do anything for them. So they have this loan and they have a degree that isn't supporting them. We need to have job growth so that when they do graduate, they're able to pay back that student loan because they've earned a spot with a job.
Now, thank you. Now, I want to go back to you, Ron. Now, you called out Stanford and Berkeley, I believe, right? You want them to follow suit. Now, how do you, in your mind, how do you think that happens?
Well, that's what our campaign right now is on the Board of Overseers. We see it as convincing other Ivy League universities to start out. And that's why we're coalescing all our attention right now on Harvard University, because they're so competitive, all these universities, that if you just get one domino to fall, you could probably get the other universities to follow suit, because they will attempt to prove that they are just as competitive as Harvard. So Ralph Nader and I have been launching a campaign to begin to make Ivy Leagues free, and we're hoping that the UC system in California will also follow suit in cutting bureaucracy and making it free for the majority of students.
Thank you, Ron. Is there anybody that wishes to follow up with any of that?
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to just agree with my Democratic friend here that the real problem is actually on the loans. We are becoming far too dependent on loans to get through college, and right now they're particularly harmful to the middle class. What we really need to look at when looking at the UC system isn't making Ivy Leagues free. It's about changing the pension and retirement systems for professors and staff. It's not sustainable. We need to look at the problem from a fresh light and work locally to solve it so that we can actually address the individual community needs, as opposed to just looking at the problem as a whole and trying to put one type of mask over it.
Now, Mr. Sandum, you said that we need to work together as a community. Now, again, these are big, lofty goals and claims. Do you have any more specifics to how we can do that?
I really think that the way to do it is to look for quality education and find out what the best types of options are. Right now, we're focusing only on one thing at a time. There's a lot of people pushing for just free community college or just free Ivy Leagues. What we need to do is reevaluate the entire system and find out what's proving to be most effective. Do we want online education? Do we want 4 years? We need to look at the statistics on this and then try to propose the best types of education for our youth and work to make those more affordable before we can start tackling larger issues.
All right, now Kamala, since you opened up this discussion, would you like to have any closing remarks?
Absolutely. I think that the people who have been rebutting what I said from the beginning have been taking stances that aren't going to address the entirety of the problem, specifically my colleague right here who is saying that we should start from a top-down approach and that we should focus on the administration and teachers and what that looks like. And unfortunately, all of these lofty ideas, while we may try to implement them if you believe that they should be implemented, they take time. And during that time, hundreds of thousands of students don't know where their next meal is going to be. And they don't know when they are going to be able to find a job or support themselves and pay rent. And so we need to look at action now and look at ways that we can make this process easier for everybody involved and look to not only large comprehensive ideas, but very small approaches that will help students right now.
Well, okay, and I do like these. I think we spent a lot of time talking about the colleges, but I also think that maybe some of these problems could be predicated at an earlier age. And so there's been a lot of conversation about Common Core standards, and since they were introduced, some argue that we need national standards for American students and provide Common Core, or American standards that Common Core provides in a way to hold educators accountable. Others believe that any standards ought to be left to the states, and that Common Core forces teachers to teach the test. My question today is for you, Loretta Sanchez, and my question is should we continue to stay the path of Common Core, or should we look for something that is more federally regulated as standard ways to improve our education system for our children?
Well, I believe that education is really critical, especially at a young age, and I understand that Common Core does have its flaws, so we need to be looking at policies that implement programs such as Head Start or after-school programs, as well as ESL programs, to really be able to push our young children into a good education. It starts at a young age, and these are the types of policies that the federal government needs to recognize in order to increase the overall education of our children.
All right, thank you. And Tom, I want to ask you if you have a rebuttal on that, because it seems like you might have something to say.
I do. I really feel like our education system is failing our students right now. With Common Core, it's causing a lot more problems, and as a person who wants to succeed, I am vowing to remove Common Core because I believe with what we've seen recently with the statistics, it's failing and we're falling behind as a nation, and instead of growing with our education system, we just continually fall backwards. At the point where we have 40-page progress reports that parents have to somehow interpret, it's really difficult because we don't know exactly what's going on with our students. We just know that somewhere within these 40 pages, they're failing.
Now, Tom, I think our voters would like to hear something a little more specific. Now, you said you would remove Common Core, but as I understand it, Common Core is something that the states have pushed through.
sucking a bunch of money out of a problem. We should really discuss what's going on with each state and come up with some way that we can overall come up with a better idea for our education system for our student, because as a nation, as a whole, like I said, we are falling behind drastically.
Yeah, the federal government really did push for Common Core. They were providing states with incentives to pass it, and I believe the federal government can provide the same incentives to have the states repeal it. We can push through new ways of looking at the education system. When I'm in the Senate, my number one education priority will be to end Common Core. This is it has shocked the conscious and violated our children's constitutional rights. It's a horrible piece of legislation, and regardless of whether or not it was state implemented, it absolutely needs to be repealed.
So, for the record, your stance is that we should do everything. If you get elected, you're going to repeal Common Core and impose federal standards on schools.
I don't believe that we need to put new standards in its place. What we need to do is look at the local level. But the fact is, Common Core is harming our children, and it needs to go.
Now, Ron, I see you over there twisting at your podium. So, what is your take on this issue?
Well, I don't think it's the most pressing issue, is it? I think that first you have to localize standards. I don't think Common Core actually answers to local problems that students with their different demographics in each town has. But I think I want to bring back to the discussion English only. And the reason I want to bring this back is because regardless of what our standards are, localized or from the federal government, who's going to be a part of those standards? Because it won't be the Latino population. Because they're not going to have the same education come time next November. Because they won't be taught how to read and to write in English. In 1997, when that prop was passed in California, test scores soared for that demographic by 100% in some schools. And that's about to go away in November. So regardless of whether it's Common Core or localized, I don't care right now. I'm trying to protect the demographic. That's the priority of this election.
All right, now, Ron, I'm going to have to pull the reins on you a little bit there. And so I want to take this back to Loretta. You heard a lot about how certain candidates want to have the federal government decide what's best for schools and how test scores are not going to be affecting the Latino population. I want to understand what's your take on it and how specifically would you change this policy if you were awarded senator, or if you were in the election?
Well, back to what I was saying about ESL and English as a second language approach to these students, that the Latino population is a huge demographic right now in California, and they're extremely important, especially for our future generation. We are growing at such a large rate that we need to do something for these students. And additionally, a lot of these students are in low economic brackets, so by implementing more programs geared to these students, we can ensure a brighter future for them.
Thank you. Is there anybody who would like to make any further comments on this topic?
I would like to make a comment. I think that I mostly agree with Ms. Sanchez's approach on this, but I also think that we need to look at the impacts outside of the classroom for children as well, and what it means for children to have access to different forms of resources outside of the classroom. Because even if you show up to class and you have resources in the classroom, but then you are going home and you don't have access to ways in which you can do your homework or have other methods of being able to continue your education, then the students are inevitably going to fail. And so my approach is incorporating the forms of health testing and also being able to be sure that these students are healthy in the classroom, and so they can be sure that they're going to succeed, and also focusing on ways in which we can help disadvantaged students outside of the classroom as well for them to succeed further in their K through 12 education.
Thank you. Now, we talked about exactly how we would like to have factors outside the classroom, and certainly I think all candidates up here all have their different approaches about improving the welfare of our children in general, our future. And that brings me to want to discuss an economic question with you, and specifically predicated on the idea of the minimum wage, or the debate about having a living wage. Now, mid-April 2016, during the CNN debate, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders talked about the economy, and Sanders plans to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 per hour. And California has already approved the plan. What is your stance on the minimum wage plan, and what would be the impact on the economy? And this one I want to point right at Duff Sundin.
Okay, so we don't need to continue raising the minimum wage to the recommended amount. What we need to do is keep it up with the rate of inflation. We have an alternate tool that we can use to address situation, and it's from the United States Census Bureau, and it's the Earned Income Tax Credit. This program has already lifted millions out of poverty and has the potential to help millions more. It does so by making direct payments of funds from the government to the worker. For example, if you have 3 children, you may be eligible for a check of $6,000 annually. This puts money directly into people's pockets, and it enables others to keep their jobs. It makes workers more competitive over machines, and it enables small businesses to succeed. And we know that small business is the backbone of the United States economy. This addresses the problem in a much more easy way and doesn't simply ignore the fact that minimum wage will only need to keep being raised.
Perfect. Now I want to aim at you, Loretta Sanchez, about your rebuttal on this topic about how we need to focus on small business. What is your take on that?
I do believe that we need to focus on small businesses, and I have passed much legislature that supports local businesses and stopping the taxes on these businesses. But I am a strong supporter of the $15 an hour minimum wage, because what we need is to meet the cost of living within California. $15 an hour really isn't anything when you look at how California's economy is and how expensive it is now. We need to continue to push hiring the minimum wage, because California, especially, it is extremely expensive, and this creates more racial and economic disparities in our state.
Tom, we haven't heard from you for a while, so I want to hear your take on the subject as well.
Sure. As a small business attorney, like I said, for the past 29 years, I have seen how difficult it is for a lot of companies to have startups. If we increase the minimum wage, it will be even more difficult for them to hire individuals, which means that we're not going to be able to have that startup happen and be as successful as we would like it to be. All we would see is a definite ability for some company to maybe start up, but then there wouldn't be any employment, and it wouldn't matter anyway, because the individual still wouldn't be making any money, which means that no matter what you raise the minimum wage to, it's the job that matters.
Okay, so if it's the job that matters, and we have several people that are consistently complaining that either they don't have a job or that the type of job they have doesn't pay what it used to, how would you propose fixing that?
Well, I would propose that we definitely have some incentives for some new startup companies. As California, we are number 1 in the nation for our economy, and we need to be able to have startups, because without that, we just look really, really low. And our recent statistics have actually showed that we are at the bottom for having startup companies. And without that, all we see is our big box chains like a Target or a Walmart, and they have the ability to hire people. The only issue is that when the massive corporations is that they can't take on those jobs, they lay off hundreds of individuals, which means that without any small company, we don't have the ability to stagnate that or to be able to fix for that issue.
All right, I want to open this, thank you. I want to open this up to the floor, see if there's anybody interested in refuting this. We have an idea that we cannot raise the minimum wage to 15 because it's going to hurt small businesses. And of course, this is a talk of much controversy as California is moving into new horizon of rising minimum wage to $15.
Yeah, I mean, in 2013, I began a campaign in California to set a $12 minimum wage. Ralph Nader and I and a few other colleagues, Phyllis Shapley, we worked with Congress and petitioned, and Governor Jerry Brown put on the bracket to increase the minimum wage to a $15 level. And to answer that question of small businesses and how they're affected, go to Seattle. They weren't affected. That's not true. Empirically denied. Every place where there has been a minimum wage, there's no impact. I know Republicans really like to be scared about this issue because they feel like they have to represent the flag of small businesses. But it actually protects small businesses. It protects entrepreneurs because it puts more income into local economies, and it's a natural conservative issue. Why is it a natural conservative issue? Because it puts less strain on taxes coming from local communities, which means that not only is it conservative, but it helps the small mom and pop businesses to grow and thrive because more income is coming in, more capital.
All right. Now, Sondheim, I haven't heard you have a different position on this before. Is directly refuting it. What is your response?
Yeah, the local governments are the ones that need to set the minimum wages. Raising it with just total state level would increase poverty, because businesses would buy more machines and use less human labor because it would be more affordable for them. The direct way to change this problem is to increase capital by changing the lending standards. We also need to lower our marginal rates, and we need to dramatically streamline and reduce regulations since businesses and jobs are literally moving out of the state. Small businesses are the number one best paying job opportunity for millions of people in our state, and they are the ones that we need to be supporting.
All right. Does anybody like to have any closing comments on this? Okay, now I can hear what we're saying here. We're talking about minimum wage and what's best for small businesses, but as there were several articles that came out from not only Forbes but also the Wall Street Journal that talks about taxation policies as being one of the key predictors to whether or not businesses want to even start up in the United States, let alone just in California. So the question that I want to point to you, Ron, is that the policymakers and researchers have long been interested in how potential changes to personal income tax may affect the size of an overall economy. But in 2014, for example, Representative David Camp proposed a sweeping reform to income tax that would reduce the rates. Now, my question for you is, do you think that us reevaluating or changing the taxation policy would or would not stimulate economic growth in the United States?
I think it would. I think that you can decrease the taxation on income for low wage earners. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that gives them more capital to help those small businesses and entrepreneurships. Because that's the thing, is the middle class and our ability to actually compete in the market against multi-conglomerate corporations is quickly fading. So you need to adjust the taxation policy so you allow more savings and capital to happen with low wage earners. Second thing, I actually do support Senator Bernie Sanders' proposal to create a Tobin tax on financial transactions that happen on Wall Street. So that way there is less speculation and there's less derivatives going into the market. The exact thing that caused the 2008 financial crisis. And if those mega corporations are scared about coming into the U.S. because I established that Tobin tax, then I don't want them in the U.S. because they are the exact companies that preyed on low socioeconomic status individuals. I think you can create a taxation policy that gives more savings to low income earners and protects us from predatory lending.
Thank you so much. Now I want to point this to rebuttal to Loretta Sanchez. What is your take on this issue of taxation?
Well, I agree with some of what Ernst was saying, specifically about the middle class. I believe that the middle class is disappearing and that we need to do something in order to alleviate the burden that they have. We need to look at reform, which I have already voted for, that is going to alleviate the tax burden on the middle class, because that would be one of our main sources of capital, and that's how we are actually going to get our economy boosting again. We need to propose more taxes on the 1% and avoid, or in order to bridge the gap between the middle class and the 1% and ensure the financial security of those in low economic brackets.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody else that wishes to respond?
Yes, I would definitely like to chime in on this. I've actually decided for my campaigning that I was going to take the No New Tax Pledge for Americans for tax reform. And as running for senator, I believe in the flat tax, and I believe it should be at 15.5% nationwide and 6% for the California. Because right now, when you look at our current tax code, it's 77,000 pages, and big businesses and the wealthy have found every loophole that they can to get out of paying for taxes, and instead it just falls disproportionately on the middle class. Now, what that means is that with every complexity that we have in the tax code, it's just going to favor the rich. And I believe that we need to have a much simpler system that's better overall, and that California just definitely needs a tax relief, not an increase.
Thank you, Tom. Let's go ahead and hear it from Jeff.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the flat tax is in no way going to provide the middle class with any sort of relief. If you want to benefit the rich class and completely, utterly collapse the middle class and remove it from society, you should go ahead and pass this flat tax idea.
Tom, take a response over there. Let's analyze how you really feel about it.
If you really believe that it's going to do that, well, then that's already happening, because they're finding the loopholes in this massive budget of 77,000 pages where they're able to just figure out that they don't actually have to pay taxes. And right now, with 150,000 people in California paying taxes, where we have 35 million,
We can probably reduce loopholes by lowering the marginal tax rate instead of just passing another tax that will only damage the middle class more.
or we could just not pass new taxes that would force our middle class to be paying them, because they already can't afford the taxes we have now.
You see, this is why I believe that there's no difference between Republicans and Democrats. It's because they're talking about taxes and how we can protect ourselves from the wealthy and the multi-conglomerate corporations, yet none of them said a specific tax against them. That's interesting. We have obvious. You have to directly attack Wall Street if you want to protect us from Wall Street. You're